Here's how you can set up roles in your maps. You can set different roles to co-owners, hosts, teams, and trigger zones. You can set flying, jump height, and talk distance, movement speeds versus teleport speeds. It's really up to you. Let's get started. Alright, go ahead and open up your watch and go to this room, go to roles, and let's say we want our co-owners to be able to fly and talk loud. We can go ahead and add a role. I'm just going to call this VIP, shift, VIP, create. Now that I have a VIP role, I can edit those settings on that particular role and add that role to my co-owners. Let's go ahead and edit that. So I want my co-owners to be able to fly. So I just select flying and I can turn flying on. So when I add the VIP role to my co-owners, now they can fly. We also can add a couple of other things. We can choose any of these different settings. We can choose like what their walk speed is, what they can sprint, also teleport speed as well, and screens. Let's go back to shared. We also want our co-owners to be able to talk louder than everybody else. So I'm going to put that at 50. Alright, let's go back. So now that I have set up my settings for my VIP role, I want to go back into permissions. And I'm going to add this role to my co-owners by going to this gear symbol. You can add the role by going to miscellaneous and to go auto assign game roles. Just click on that and edit. Just add the role, shift VIP, and this would automatically add that role. Let's go ahead and press done. So now all my co-owners can fly. Now that we have added the settings for flying and our roll-off voice to be a little bit louder to our co-owners, we want to make sure that our audience is a little bit more quieter. We can change that in roles by going to everyone and go to the gear symbol. Well, we don't want our everyone to fly, so we can just turn that off there, and we can go to voice roll-off distance and have them down to about 25 or 10. That keeps them pretty quiet there, but you can still hear them. So this is a great way to control voice roll-off in your rooms. You can also add these type of roles to different trigger zones too. So let's say we want to add a speed to a player. Go ahead and open up your watch, go to roles, we're going to go to add role, and we're going to call this one speed. Go ahead and create. So now that we created a role called speed, we just need to modify it. Go to the gear symbol here, and then let's go to walk VR, and we're going to modify that all the way up. We're going to go to teleport VR, increase that all the way up, and same thing with screens as well. Now that we have adjusted those settings, now we can add those to trigger zones. And here is how you can add roles to trigger zones. To add a role to a trigger zone, go ahead and open up your watch and go to your backpack. Pull out your maker pen. So now that we have our maker pen, we just need to draw out a trigger zone. Let's go ahead and open up the palette here, and let's go to gadgets, and let's go to other gadgets. And here you have a trigger volume. Go ahead and select it. And just draw this out here by just pressing your trigger down and releasing. So go ahead and open up your maker pen, go to open palette, and then go to gadgets. And we're going to go to other gadgets. In other gadgets, we have roll mapper chip. Go ahead and pull that out by pressing create. Here it is. We're just going to align that correctly here. I'm just going to go over the tabs real quick by going to our wire tool. We have player, has role, player. So what we want is when the player goes into the trigger zone, they'll gain this role. We can do that by applying this tab to this part of the arrow. And when the player enters into the trigger zone, they'll gain a role. When a player enters the zone, they will gain the speed. We can also set if 5 players entered into a zone, they would all gain that speed. We can also do it when they are exiting a zone. So now that they are exiting the zone, they're going to gain the speed. So let's go into configure and select the chip. And now we have some of the options here. So we have mode, we can add a player role, so when they're entering the zone, they get a role. We can remove a player role, so when they're entering a zone, a role is removed. So let's say we had 2 different trigger zones, and one added a running speed, and then another trigger zone removed that running speed. You can easily do that with this chip and a trigger zone. You can change teams all of a sudden, or they can become something else, or an enemy. It's whatever you want to do. But let's say we're just going to add the role. So we're going to add a player role, and this player is going to be speed. So since we actually set up the speed for that player role, so if a walk player walked into the zone, they'll gain a lot of speed. If a Screamo player walked into a zone, they'll gain a lot of speed. If a teleporter walked into a zone, they'll gain a lot more speed. So it's really up to you to control what you would like in your games. Alright, so I'm just going to enter the zone here. Woo! I'm running really fast. Woo! It's great. Woo! Alright, so now that we have that, let's go ahead and remove that role. So I'm going to go ahead and select, this, and I have this selected. I'm going to go ahead and clone this. Alright, so now that I have that clone, I'm going to go ahead and configure this chip. I'm going to say remove player role. Alright, so this one's going to remove player role, and this one's going to add the player role. Alright, I'm going to walk in here real quick, so now I can't run fast. Now I can run fast, woo! And I can't run fast. Run faster? I can't run faster. So, yeah, pretty simple, right? Great. That is how you set up roles. Like and subscribe.